Hey, it's Margie with the Asking Spot, and this go around we're asking, can I make a deep dish pizza? And the answer is
Yes,
absolutely. Here's the deal. Normally I do an Asking Spot and it's nothing to do with food because that's not really my area of expertise. I'm usually trying to attempt something I think I know how to do, and hopefully you can learn from my mistakes. But my sister came down from Ohio. She enjoyed the pizza I made so much that when she went back, she was like, hey, can you make a video of you making that pizza? So here we go. Now this pizza, it's along the lines of a Chicago deep dish, but not the Chicago pie deep dish. That's entirely different. A Giordano's, I think it is. I'll do one of these. They have a delicious pizza pie, and it has more of the hard crust that goes around the outside, and then, sauce, and it's sort of a lighter, more smashed tomato sauce, not very spicy, and then lots of cheese. And then we have the other type of deep dish pizza. That would be if you were going to say Lou's, and that's the one we're going for. It's much more on the bread, a thicker bread dough that we're going to make, and then it's got more of a flavorful sauce, and of course lots of cheese. Now the version I'm making is super easy because we're going to use a jarred pizza sauce. It's the dough that takes the longest, but it's super easy. Here it goes. Here's what you're going to need. You're going to need a teaspoon of instant yeast, but you're going to bloom it first. So you're going to bloom it with the amount of water you need, which is 8 ounces of water, basically a cup. And then you've got, I use honey to feed my yeast, just a little, you're using a teaspoon of this, maybe a teaspoon. Then in a separate container, you're going to have your 11 ounces of bread flour and your pinch of salt, again, about a teaspoon's worth. Another handy thing is to also have one of these little thermometer things. So you want about 8 ounces, aka a cup's worth of water, and you want it to be at a temperature that's good for the yeast. So we're talking somewhere between 105, definitely no more than 115. 110 is a nice spot. We're right about there. You're going to add a teaspoon of the instant yeast in there. And because it needs to be fed some sugar, we're also going to add just a little bit of the honey to make it super happy. Really not adding a lot. Gonna mix that up a little bit. And then leave it to bloom. I'm gonna cover it and leave it to bloom for about 10 minutes.
Meanwhile, over here,
in this pie glass, it matters not what size, just roughly somewhere between 7 and 8 inches. So you're gonna spray it with some cooking spray.
then I go over here and...
So 11 ounces of flour. I think that's like 3 cups of flour. Into that, a teaspoon of salt.
10 minutes.
So here we have our bloomed yeast, and you can kind of see the bloom on it, and it smells great. Now we're going to add our flour to it and slowly start to mix. Using a wooden spoon. I'm going to knock this around and knead it a bit for only about 1 minute. Doesn't take much time, but here goes.
Exactly 1 minute 52 seconds. That's excellent.
Now we're going to take it and put it in our preset pie plate here. Our goal is to stretch it out. Try to get it out to the circle's edge of this pie plate. Yes, it's a little messy. I'm going to spray the top of it. cover it with cling wrap, and then place it in the fridge. It's going to be in the fridge for 12 to 24 hours.
And the very next day.
I'm all caught up, but I'm still waiting.
So this has been resting now for 30 minutes. So we're going to take the plastic wrap off of it, oil up our hands to transfer it from here into the cast iron pan that is happily sitting there with 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And in the cast iron pan, we're going to press it out to match the edges just a little bit, not too forcefully. And now this is going to sit covered. You could use plastic wrap, but as luck would have it, I do have a lid. This sits covered for an additional hour to hour and a half. You'll see it rise up and kind of fill the space.
Waiting.
In the meantime, while the pizza dough is resting, I am shredding up 8 ounces of fabulous mozzarella cheese. This happens to be a part skim one. If you can get a full fat mozzarella cheese, that's just going to up your flavor. Now, I am also using a provolone cheese to go around this outside edge of the pizza. Monterey Jack is a little bit more traditional, and you certainly can use that or any other cheese preference you like. Basically though, the ratio is 8 ounces of the mozzarella in the center and whatever's going around the side, roughly 4 ounces of that. As for the sauce that we're going to use on this, there are loads of ways you can look up to find to make your own sauce, but I'm just going to use this jar sauce, and it's only 14 ounces. Got the oven preheating, so now it's time to put our sauce on. I'm going to just sort of lightly spoon around. Whoa! And then you can add, if you want, your toppings, like, you know, if you had peppers, you might want to add, or some other fun stuff. My husband's a big fan of pepperoni, so that's what we're adding. Now, I did make one kind of big mistake on this one, and that has to do with how I put the pepperonis on. I've been informed by my husband, who likes his pizza with pepperoni, that those should be on top, because then they'll get a cooking and a crispness that makes it much more enjoyable to eat. So just a heads up there. All right, now the cheeses we have. We have our mozzarella that's going to go around the center, but we're going to use the provolone or whatever cheese you desire. Like I said, Monterey Jack's a real popular choice. This is going to go around the outside. And the idea is it gives like a little bit of a crispier extra shelf around the outside. There's a name for it, but I don't remember. And then, piled beautifully in the center is our mozzarella. A lot of cheese. This is going to go uncovered in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. You'll see it kind of goldeny and bubbly. And then it's going to rest for another 15 to 20 before you can actually eat it.
Waiting.
Well, there you have it. I will save you the, oh, let's see you eat it and then see your reaction. I've eaten this pizza multiple times and I love it. And the only hard part about it is now waiting for it to cool. So thanks so much for watching the Asking Spot. Got more of the traditional things I usually dabble in coming up in the next video. So please click subscribe, give a big thumbs up if you're a pizza lover, and I'd love to hear your comments on what toppings would you put on a pizza. Thanks for watching the Asking Spot. Hi, I'm Margie with the Asking Spot, and this go around we're asking, can I make a deep dish pizza? The answer is that was my